Hey everyone, you're listening to The Illustrious Gentleman, a podcast hosted by two comic book professionals who get together to talk about comics, work, beer, and life. Scott Godleski is currently drawing Superman at DC Comics, and Ryan Cody, that's me. I'm currently finishing up my graphic novel manga, The Ronin and the Shisa, and I'm also coloring Family Tree at Image Comics. Please visit tigshow.com, tigshow.com. Click on the links at the top of the page. You can get some Tig Show merch. You can find out where to follow us on social media. You can do all sorts of cool shit over at tigshow.com. No Scott this week. He's got a tight deadline. He's got a huge huge home improvement project, and it's the first week of spring break, which in Scott's world equates to damn near a month of spring break. So, but I still wanted to put out a pod this week, something special for you, something special for me as well. If you would, hop over to the Patreon, patreon.com/super75, patreon.com/super75. There's all sorts of cool shit going on at the Patreon. I got the Wednesday warm-up process videos where I do these sped up videos of me coloring an image or drawing an image, and I narrate through it, giving you an idea of kind of my decision-making process. Do monthly happy hours. So every third Thursday, every third thirsty Thursday, I get together with some patrons and we have some drinks and shoot the shit. I also do a monthly drink and draw where I'll do a quick sketch. We'll have a drink with some patrons, and then at some point when I get around to it, I'll send that sketch out to one of the patrons, whoever, randomly chosen patron, or whoever I seem to like most at that point. And also, you get early podcast access. And coming up probably next month, once I finish this Ronin and the Shisa, and I get an extra couple hours a week, I will be doing a Patreon comic. It's not Patreon exclusive. It is while it's being made. I'll release a page or two a week. Once it's all collected, I might release it, through self-publishing or something like that. But during the process of it being made, it'll be exclusive to Patreon every week. So that'll start up probably around tax day in America. So be on the lookout for that. Again, that's patreon.com/super75. You can become a supporter at just $1 a month, or $5 a month, or $10 a month. And there's even a $20 a month tier if you wanted to get a commission. If you're a $20 tier supporter for 4 months in a row, you get a free 11, not free, you get an 11/17 commission that you essentially paid for on layaway, but you also get all the other perks as well of being a Patreon supporter. But yeah, the Patreon is mostly for me. I produce the podcast, I edit the podcast. Scott does all the magic, I do all the work. But if you wanted to ensure that Scott gets some of your hard-earned money, and you want to buy the two of us around, then hop over to the previously mentioned tigshow.com, click on the follow and support link at the top, and click on the buy the guys around link, not guy the buys, buy the guys around link. We'll take your money securely and safely, and then we'll buy a drink with it, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. So you can send us, $10 and say, hey, buy 2 tall boys of this. It's my favorite beer. Something like that. Something that's available at Total Wine is kind of where we're at here in Arizona. And as we move on to show business, one thing I've decided from now on is that whenever my podcasting life partner, Scotty, has to skip a week, it'll just be a chaser episode. These chaser episodes are something we do when Scott's not around, or we don't, we just have a short episode or something like that. We call them a chaser episode. It's not normally a full-length episode. It's just kind of like a little side piece. So in the future, whether I have a guest co-host with me or if it's just me, but if Scott's not on it, it won't be a proper episode. It'll be a chaser episode in the future. So that's something I've decided on that matters to nobody but me. But to me, it's very important. All right. So we've had 19 chaser episodes so far and 202 Illustrious Gentlemen proper episodes. So plenty of something for everyone. Today, I thought I'd do something completely egotistical and self-centered, and I'd let you, the illustrious listener, get to know me, the lesser of the two co-hosts. So I thought, let's go out on a date. Let's go out on our first date. We're having some dinner. We're having some pasta. We're having a nice Pinot Grigio from California, the Gallo family. You can't go wrong with that. $1.80, plastic bottle of wine. But yeah, let's get to know one another, shall we? Since this is the 20th chaser, I thought we'd do 20 questions, and I chose 20 questions from a Cosmopolitan magazine first date questionnaire. No, I didn't go into my closet and pull out my old Cosmos and get this list for you. I did pull it off the internet, the interwebs. But that's the whole point, and let's get to know me so that you can know me better. Exciting stuff. All right. All right. Question number one. A little buttery. Would you consider yourself healed from the past? Right out the gate. Right out the gate. We're doing some hard hitting questions. Probably not. I have anger and anxiety issues as well as overwhelming self confidence problems. So I assume all that stems from some sort of traumatic event, in my childhood or in the past. But I tend to think that most people with average or even above average intelligence seem to suffer from anxiety and stuff like that. It just if you think about things too much, then you can get bummed. So no, I wouldn't say I'm healed from the past, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm like totally damaged from the past either. I had a pretty decent life. Um, Number two, what are your long-term goals? Well, to continue to make comics, to continue to try to travel as much as possible, and to tell stories as much as I can, or as much as I think that they're stories that need to be told, whether I tell them, whether they're personal stories or whether I'm coloring a comic on a book, a comic that the story's great. How can I enhance that sort of thing? Um, I also want to be able to help my kids as they get older. They're all three practically adults. So I want to be able to give them as much support as I can in the future, so that they don't always struggle the way I did. Whether it's just emotional support, whether who knows what it would be. But any way that I can is something I want to do, so that they don't go through the first half of their lives sort of struggling the way I did. At least from age 19 to 45. All right. What are some of your biggest fears? Ooh. So I took this. I took this very literally, and I just say drowning. Drowning. I almost drowned twice. Terrifying. Dying in any sort of accident. Basically any sort of dying that I can see it coming. Like I've been in a few car accidents in my day, and there's always that moment, like right when it's about to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's terrifying. But I'm also like terrified of like seeing my family get sick, shit like that. Typical things that people worry about are what I worry about. Um, Number four, who do you look up to the most? I think this is kind of a question for like children and like weak-minded individuals. I don't really look up to anybody, but I guess I admire certain creators. But I'm a grown-ass man, so I don't have role models. Uh, but yeah, certain creators, I like the way that they manage their career, and I kind of look at that like that's something cool. Becky Cloonan started out drawing. Now she writes and draws. Chris Somney, same thing. Um, that kind of career path, or someone who ideally I want to color comics and write comics. I guess be part of those two sections of the field that I work in. But yeah, and then the joke is, but physically, I do have to look up to almost everybody because I'm short. I had to go pick up something from Scott's house a week ago or so, and he was wearing some cowboy boots. We're not going to get into that on the show. He's not here to defend himself, but I always forget how tall Scott is compared to me. I was shocked at how tall he was. Maybe it was the cowboy hat. Maybe it was the cowboy boots. Who knows? Let's move on though. Question number 5. What's your love language? Words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, gifts, or acts of service? So I honestly have no idea what this bullshit question is. Like, this is dumb. I didn't know what a love language was until this question explained it to me. This is just dumb. I guess I'll go with quality time and acts of service. Since I don't always have the money to buy things or treat my loved ones to like vacations and to very nice things. One thing I can do that doesn't cost any money is I can give them my time and effort. So, I do chores around the house. I sometimes I'll be known to rub a foot or two, maybe a toe. I try to listen and I just try to be there. So like, I just try to give as much time as I can. I like to make dinner. I do grocery shopping. Just as much as I can do to kind of ease someone else's day. Um, I'm happy to do, even though I complain about it. I'm happy to do it, and I do. I do get a sense of gratification from that, gratitude. Um, yeah. So my love language is rubbing toes. All right, number 6. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, dear listener, I guess doing the same shit I've been doing for the last decade. Hopefully just with more success. Mm, I've been drawing comics or working in comics full time for 10 years. I don't see that changing unless someone changes it for me, unless jobs completely die. And, I have to go get a job, which that's fine. That's totally fine with me. That's what I'll do. But ideally, in 5 years, I'm still coloring comics. I'm still drawing a comic or two, a year. I'm trying to write. I'm traveling. I'm documenting stuff on video and in writing, doing travel documentary stuff. Um, yeah, and hopefully coloring more comics that I'm drawing, like I said, and traveling with my wife. Same shit that I want to do now. I want to still do in 5 years. Hopefully, healthier than I am now. As I suck down a glass of top tier vino. Getting healthy is something I need to do to be successful in 5 years, I believe. All right. Number 7. Lucky number 7. What are you excited about most in your life right now? Well, I'm about to become sort of an empty nester. My youngest will be living on his own in a couple months. And so I guess I'm both excited and nervous about that. Like most parents, when their kids move out or when their kids grow up, it's been 22 years, 22 and a half years since I didn't have a child to take care of. So it's definitely going to be a lifestyle change, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm also nervous about making sure that they're taken care of and that they're happy and that they're healthy and that they're mentally healthy. Um, Number 8. Which TV or movie character do you identify with and why? Um, I could say something cool like Raylan Givens from Justified, but I'm just gonna say the truth, and it's probably like Brody Lee from Chasing Amy. He's a lazy dude who's a comic book creator who clings on to more talented friends than he is. That's kind of what I do. Trying to ride Scott's coattails on this podcast, and he's doing great things now. And I color Phil Hester's book at Image. Just whenever these more talented guys than me will allow me to be in their sphere, I'll happily strap in and be happy to do it. So yeah, Brody Lee from Chasing Amy. He's just a tracer. Number 9. What happened in your last relationship that led you two to break up? Juicy question. Juicy. I wasn't looking back. I realized I wasn't like a very thoughtful husband. I let the stress and I let stress make me angry, and it, usually get the best of me, and I would, I'd just be shitty. Just a shitty person to be around, depressed, shitty, all that kind of stuff. I felt sorry for myself most of the time. So I just wasn't a very pleasant person to be around with. And also my first wife came out as a lesbian, so it kind of made sense to to end that relationship for both of us. Number 10. Who did you turn to as a child when you were scared, lonely, and hurt? Um, Please, dear listeners, don't ever, if you're on a date with somebody, don't ever ask these questions. That, or don't ever ask that question. That's terrible. That is that is a horrible question. But for me to answer the question, because it's a podcast, that's what I got to do. Make some content. Comics and cartoons are what I turn to, I suppose. And as I got older, music. That's the beauty of these, physical objects like that, is that they were always there. I could always bury my head in a comic or a book, or um, put on like a CD, you know, turn out all the lights, lay your head in your tear soaked pillow and just play a Cure CD or some Smiths. Yeah, that was my jam. That's how I got through high school. And it was fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Number 11. What are you most proud of and why? Um, this one is both simple and cheesy. I'm proud that my kids aren't assholes. They have empathy and they have kindness and they're good people. And I'm at least partially responsible for that. I will take some credit for that, so that they're not total shitheads and shitty kids. And my wife, my wife and I have a good relationship, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of those relationships. Okay, let me take a sip of this. Gallo family of wines. Pinot Grigio. Just real smooth. What do you need during periods of stress? During times of stress, what do I need? I need whatever's stressing me out to go the fuck away. And usually that one comes down to money. But I don't need it to go away. I need it to come back. I need it so that I don't feel stressed anymore. The majority, a huge portion of my stress is money related, overwhelming. So I guess my answer is money. When I'm flush and my bank account's flush and work is good and all that, it's shocking, but I'm not stressed and I'm not depressed when I have a lot of money in my pocket. And I also like to reach out to people and kind of vent sometimes. I text friends. I have group threads going with my friends from high school, group threads going with my friends from the record store from 25 years ago. We have our studio Discord channel, Scott and I, and Matt Goodall. I post shit on there. I vent on there. So just simple stuff. Put it out into the world, accept that it sucks, and try to move past it. And try to make that bank account fat. That's what I need when I'm stressed out. All right, number 13. Lucky number 13. Who is your biggest influence and why? I don't know. There's some creators whose work I appreciate and I try to follow their lead, like I mentioned earlier. I guess if I was like shooting for the moon on my biggest influence, it'd be someone like Anthony Bourdain. He had a lot of flaws, but he did kind of whatever he wanted to do. He lived his life the way he wanted to live it. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that 100% because, again, family takes priority. But I'd like to aim for some of that freedom, some of that freedom to explore, without feeling bad or without feeling guilty. That's kind of what I would like to do. So I guess someone like Anthony Bourdain would be a huge influence on me. Obviously, if you've listened to this podcast, no duh. Number 14. We're just cruising right along. That's what these chaser episodes are all about. Hit it and quit it. What are your favorite addictions? Well, I suppose it's alcohol and food. Beer more than anything else. Beer and food. And fun, because fun is fun. I'm always on the lookout for more fun. Anything that I can do that's fun, I try to do it because it's fun. So food and beer fit right into that, in my opinion. Eating well, eating terribly well, terribly, eating like a big ass juicy burger with some fries and a beer. That is a great meal for me. So yeah, I guess I turn to food and booze. as far as addictions go. Um, yeah. And right now, sports. I'm obsessed with F1, obsessed with Premier League football, obsessed with hockey. Can't get enough. Right before I started recording this, I was listening to like a SM or Sirius XM's FC channel, just listening to them talk about the Champions League soccer game that I have no affiliation. I don't care about either of the teams or nothing. Just listening to them ramble on. Um, okay, number 15. Are you a neat person or a messy person? Are you an on time person or a late person? So for both of these sort of questions, I am both. I'm a dichotomy. I'm an enigma. It's very important for me to be on time to like a meeting or an event. That's just the way that my OCD works. Like if I tell somebody I'm going to be at their house at like 1:30, I start freaking out if I'm going to be late. Even like hours ahead of time, if I know I'm not going to leave the house in time and I'm going to be late, I start freaking out. So it's very important for me to be on time for like a meeting or something like that. Like during convention season, when conventions ever come back, no matter how late I stay out, kind of partying the night before, I don't want to be one of those guys who strolls in after the con starts. Con doors open at 10, people start coming in at 10. I don't want to be walking to my table at 11. I like to be there right, on time all the time. But if I'm shipping you a commission, or if I owe you some artwork, or if I owe you a signed book or something like that, I drag my ass on that all the time. And I don't know if it's just I hate packing up. I hate going to the post office, but and then like getting around to do things around the house, like, oh, I got to mop the floor. Okay, I'll do that in 3 days rather than 3 hours, something like that. And then as far as like messy person, I'm not messy in the sense that like I wear like dirty chonies, or like, I don't comb my hair every day and I don't shower every day. I do all that, but I do have like tons of shit everywhere. Like it's cluttered everywhere I live, everywhere I inhabit is cluttered. I'm kind of like a slightly tidy hoarder, I guess. Um, but yeah, so I'm just I'm just a riddle, trapped in a box, trapped in a marble. Number 16. Do you believe in karma? I do. It's never paid off for me yet, but it doesn't mean I don't think it will someday. Or I don't like the concept of it, or I don't like to live by that conceit. But I believe in being nice to people, and I hope that someday that'll come back to me. Yeah. I think if you're a shitty person, shitty things happen to you, and if you're a good person, maybe good things should happen to you. And it's not always the case. But yeah, I have faith. Sorry, I had a little nasal snot for you. I apologize. I'm not going to edit that out though. Um, Number 17. Where is your happy place? This is funny because whenever I am having a great time at a brewery or hanging out with friends, I'll tweet it and I'll say this is my happy place. So it's wherever a group of my friends are. Whether it's whether we're doing a Zoom call and having drinks, or whether it's a convention, or whether it's a bar in a small town or a beach or something like that. That's my happy place. Wherever I get to be surrounded by people that I love and just have fun, because again, fun is fun. That's my happy place. 18. Ooh, we're getting close to the end here, folks. What is your best quality? Well, illustrious listeners, my best quality is just that I care too much. Number 19. What makes you cry, and why? Well, sad shit makes me cry. Simple as that. Sad shit happening to kids, that shit makes me cry. Sad shit in movies, sometimes I cry. Not all the time, but it's been known to happen. Ben Affleck, when he cries when he has to get off the rock, in Armageddon, and I got to leave Bruce Willis behind. He's got a tear coming down his fucking eye. That's sad. That's some sad shit. I'm a sensitive guy, and again, I care too much. All right, last question. You guys can't hit the stop button fast enough, but bear with me. One more question. If money wasn't a factor, what would you be doing with your life right now? Pretty simple. I'd be traveling nonstop. Just all the time, traveling all the time, exploring something new every day. I think my wife and I would be happy to travel, and just live in like just every season move to a new city somewhere in the world and just live for 3 or 4 months. I think we would be thrilled with that. So that's what I would be doing, if money was not a factor for me. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And thank you for getting to know me. Thank you for letting me let you get to know me better. And as always, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe. Everything goes up on YouTube at some point. Usually, the podcast is available anywhere in the world that you listen to podcasts, on every platform, pretty much. And yeah, go to tickshow.com. It's got those links to the Patreon, got those links to the Buy Us Around. Be sure to check out Scott's upcoming Superman work coming out in the next couple months. If you haven't already, pick up House of L #1 Superman. Oh, sorry, Future State House of L #1. That just came out a couple weeks ago. The first 2 volumes of Family Tree, the first 2 collected volumes are out. The first 11 of 12 issues are out. So hop on all that. And thanks for listening. Talk to you next week. Wear your masks. Don't be an asshole. Bye-bye.